Right. So in this video, what we'll be discussing is how to scale past 10,000 to 30,000 in revenue with paid ads. If you're an online business owner, have a high ticket info product that leverages call funnels, this would be a really great presentation for you guys to incorporate into your sales systems, your funnel systems, or your paid systems, and just help you gain direct direction as far as what to do and what to focus on in order to kind of start working out of this revenue range of 10,000 to 30,000, especially if you want to scale past 100K a month, okay? Which we've done with multiple clients of ours consistently with a really solid marketing strategy that we give them, okay? Now, I want to take a deep dive here of three common problems that we identify with coaches, consultants in the high ticket space, with call funnels, is problem one, understanding your data. Now, here is what we commonly see where a lot of coaches, they're in the weeds in their business because, they're kind of doing it all, wearing a number of hats. And the biggest bottleneck that I see with them is that they're taking all their calls, right? And the challenge here is depending how their system is in place, let's just say they are getting book calls. What bogs them down is the quality of calls, right? And it could get frustrating at times just because let's just say you're taking anywhere from 10 to 15 calls a week and they're just not qualified, right? And that wears you down. Now, this is going to be important that you understand where we need to look at our data because we get clients where, for example, they're making 2 to 3x returns or even higher. But we commonly hear them say, hey, our leads are just not qualified. I'm going to shut this campaign off, stuff like that, when they have things that work for them. So in that position, we consult them. Hey, like I wouldn't recommend that just because certain campaigns are showing a consistency within 3 months, you putting $1 in and you're getting $2 to $3 out. In that perspective, we wouldn't want to take that out of your system, right? Why would you want to start back at zero when you already have something working at 2 to 3x or $1 in, $2 to $3 out? I'll take that all day if it's consistent. So this is going to be an important review that we'll have in this presentation of understanding your data and why it's important. And then we can filter into the problems on probably qualifying prospects where if you are in the position where you're in your week and you're taking a lot of calls that are just not qualified and you're pulling that 1, 2 people a week, we can definitely improve upon that. We just have to, you know, if we're running this online business, what's going to be important is you're always testing, things that can be a better benefit to your business. Because if you're doing one mechanism, let's just say you have a particular system in place and you're getting a specific result. Let's just say the result that you're getting is you're not getting a lot of qualified leads for the week. We need to test something brand new. We need to try something different, right? And start evaluating the performance of, let's just say, the different testing that we'll conduct, which is called A/B split testing. Right. So I don't want to get too complex there, but that's going to be a problem number two that we commonly see. Problem number three, not taking enough calls, right? And this could range from a couple of different things where maybe you need to figure out certain systems within your funnel or your traffic. But in this example, you figured that out, it's working. You just need more calls on your call because you're just not getting qualified leads, right? So the theory is more calls equals more money, but that's not necessarily always true, right? Because quality beats quantity every single day, right? We've proven that time and time and time again, specifically even for our 8-figure clients that we scaled out. We proved that for them. They were doing about 100K a month. We took them to doing almost 7 figures a month, and that was the biggest eye opener for this particular client, where we prioritize quality versus quantity. Although we were paying a cheaper cost per call on the quantity side of things, we doubled the cost per call, which was 50, the origin one for the quantity. We bumped it up to 100. We're getting $100 calls, and those $100 calls were closing. Problem number one, understanding your data. Okay. Now here is identifying your three moving parts, right? We have the traffic side of things. We have your incubator, which is your funnel, sales letter, low ticket funnel, etc. In this presentation, I want to focus more on call funnels. So let's just say your incubator is your call funnel. And then your third piece is going to be your sales side of your sales system, which is going to be your sales rep, tracking performance, etc. Okay. Now, this is kind of how it looks like, right? On what you're running. You have your traffic side, you have your ads and your targeting. You ideally want your goal to be at 1.5% CTRs, which I should put that there. But yeah, this is going to be CTRs and up. Anything higher than 1.5, you're sitting really pretty. And then there's other main metrics that you can look at. But in this example, we cracked it and it's doing really well. And you're hitting that 1.5 and above on the CTR, and the metrics and benchmarks on the traffic side, it's achieving its goals. Okay. Now, let's just say after solving the traffic portion, right, we're going into your funnel, right? And this is your funnel stage, which is going to be your opt-in down to when they book a call, right? And your opt-in percentage needs to hit certain benchmarks to predictably determine if what we're delivering on the front end down to when they book a call is all congruent and people resonate with your messaging, right? And our biggest indicator that's going to tell us that is going to be the benchmarks we're achieving and eventually the feedback we're getting from your sales team. In this equation, we solved the front end by getting the numbers we wanted. We're solving the opt-in page percentage because we're getting the number we wanted, which you want to be at 20% and up. And now we're floating into your webinar VSL, giving your pitch on why they should book that call. But here you want at least a 50% and up conversion of people going from your VSL or webinar to your booking page, right? And then ideally, when they're booking a call and they make the booking, you want at least 10% and above of all that traffic flowing from the front end to your booking page, which gives you 10% and above. That's where we would want to be. And eventually you go into your sales system, which is where you want to evaluate sales, performance, and data. Okay. Now understand that these benchmarks listed here. So if you're looking at the traffic side, we have 1.5% CTRs. If you're looking at the opt-in percent goal, you have 20% and above. If you're looking at the webinar and or VSL, you want to be at 50% and up. As soon as they book the call, ideally you want that percentage to be 10% and above. Okay. Now, this is a mechanism that works, right? Because now we know based off all the benchmarks that we achieved here, this is a working formula. This is a working traffic down into your webinar or VSL, so funnel into your booking, right? Where you're having a acquisition system that's working for your business at this point. Now, what do we do after that, right? Like, let's just say you hit all these points, you're not getting great calls, right? What do you do, right? Is it the traffic? Is it the funnel? Most people will blame the traffic, right? It's very common. But the traffic is mostly not the problem, right? Some media buyers aren't, the best at media buying, so it could be a problem by all means, depending on the quality of your media buyers or your agency. But with a good agency, they can nail down the traffic. But if your webinar or VSL doesn't convert and it's not hitting numbers, or perhaps not talking to them correctly, then the traffic is not going to help you here. And let's just say your traffic's good, your webinar is doing a great job, but you're struggling on the sales side. That's going to be a refinement point that you're going to have to get better at in order to increase opportunity to close, right? Which leads us to problem number 2, properly qualifying, right? Building leverage for increased quality prospects on the call. Now, this portion right here is going to potentially be that solution in order to close more, in order to get somebody more qualified versus bogging yourself down with people that just aren't in a good fit. And this is what it can look like. Right now, most people run this style where after the webinar VSL, they go straight to a booking page. All traffic has the opportunity to book a call, right? Everyone. And then they go into the application page after they book that call, right, on your calendar, which creates more work essentially, because now if you're going into it, maybe you have a VA going into your application, determining how you're qualifying these prospects, that's just an extra piece into the equation you would have to add, right? So creating more work to review applicants coming in, and then final page to end off at the thank you page. There's 2 perspectives here, or there's 2 things that's going to happen. One, you're going to either get people that are pretty qualified within this process. You can close that one person a week, right? If it's a high ticket, I mean, it could be beneficial because mostly our clientele, their average ticket size is about 7,000 and above. But let's just say you're struggling, right? You have limited availability on your calendar and you're just getting a lot of bad people on the phone, right? And I marked up here, review quality of applicants and on call if change needs to be made here, right? So I'm saying if you're getting a lot of bad quality calls and you're not seeing much of a change, a really good split test for you to conduct would be flipping the sequence, having your application first and then a booking page, right? And what's going to be important here is the benefit being filter out people that aren't serious automatically, right? Because people will automatically drop off. And I wouldn't even worry about people that perhaps qualify, but they just don't want to finish it. You could always leverage your retargeting later, or if you already have a retargeting campaign that could benefit you. But at least if you have a person that's willing to go through your application and fill it out there and then book a call, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all can agree, a serious person that wants to have a conversation with you. And then now the benefits of going into your booking pages, now you're protecting your booking slots, right? And what we've seen is 70% of prospects that hit the phones are at least 70% more qualified, which makes a big difference. The benefit here is especially, and I'm gonna show you this example here. Let's just say you have a booking calendar that looks like this, which I see sometimes. 2 slots here and then 3 slots here. If you're filtering, going back to the example right here, if you're filtering everybody to your booking page, anyone of any quality can book these out. They're still they can still be interested in your webinar VSL. And if you have a call to action that eventually pops up towards the end, you're still going to get a range of quality users that hit your page. Then what happens is they're booking these out. You have a limited amount of slots and they get booked out. Your primary aim should be to protect these slots. And if anything, prioritize on filtering people out and having those qualified prospects that have a higher probability of being a good fit book these slots. And how can you do that, right? Well, right here, the application automatically filters people out. These serious people tend to fill it out commonly, go on your booking page. And if you have a limited amount of slots, the way I showed you, at least now you're safeguarding your calendar, getting better people to book, and now increasing your opportunity to close and really move the needle on that revenue goal you're looking to aim, whether you want to double sales or hit 100K a month. Like we've seen this time again. We've spent over, $45 million in ad spend and brought back 117 million back. Like you learned a lot from that experience, especially if you're dabbling in multiple different niches and testing a lot of different functionalities and systems. This system right here is a great play, specifically if you have a call funnel and looking to push your revenue goal to higher markers. And especially if based everything I've just said, you dealing with poor quality leads on the call, this can help you improve that process as well. After that piece, let's go to problem 3, not taking enough calls. And here is where I identify where you have some business owners that they want to get into paid or they're already doing paid, and they're the one taking the calls, eventually they want to go on vacation, they have to pause everything. Sometimes that could be a setback, right? Especially if you're trying to do paid ads, because now you're spending money every day. And there's one week that you have to push your calendars, because I'd even get into the fact that if you push a booking date too far out, meaning let's use my calendar here. Let's just say these are the availabilities. You want to go on vacation, so we have no slots here. You open up on the 20th because that's when you get back. Most likely, this is going to be a poor quality lead because they probably lost interest. And based off our testing of what we conducted and see after day 2, well, we're on Tuesday here, but let's just use this as the example. After day 2, quality drops by 50%. And the further you get out, the likelihood of them no showing or them not having interest is going to be extremely likely, because that's how the traffic works. We're living in an age of people want things now, right? And, we're in an age where it's easy these days, right? You can go on Amazon, order something. You can sometimes get it the same day of, right? You got to understand how people operate these days. So this is going to be a big issue. So how do we solve that problem? This is you right now, right? You're taking the calls and you're the business owner. Let's just say you're Lenny. You're taking 10 to 15 calls a week. Some of them are good, some of them are not. What we need to do is start filtering a sales team, right? Despite of you not having a lot of calls sometimes. because sometimes it's going to require you to start getting people on board, and then you start experiencing, hey, like we're actually going to get more calls now because we're giving more people opportunity and pretty much having more availability, and that creates convenience for people to see if we can help them. Sometimes you might think or tell yourself, hey, if I'm only getting 10 calls a week, getting a sales rep is not going to work out. Well, that's not the point, because what you would want to do ideally is get that one sales rep, give them one call to start, give them practice, right? Because they're going to need practice when they first start going on to your offer. And then this is how it's going to look like. You're going to be the business owner. You're going to still take 75% of calls. And for the next couple of weeks, your rep is going to be doing about 25% of the calls that comes in. But what you'll notice is as you open up more opportunity, you're going to most likely start seeing more book calls start filling into your offer. And now you're creating more leverage and opportunity for you to make more money. And this is exactly the formula we see with our clients that are winning successfully. The more they can focus on building that team strategically, we're seeing their call actually dropping down without bumping out the budget significantly, and their revenue is just skyrocketing. And if this is something that you're not putting in play or not considering, like I highly recommend you could book a call with us and we can have that conversation. But this is definitely a working formula. Once again, we've tested this time again, and incorporated it in many funnels and systems, and they have crushed it. And I just want to finish it off here. Refining your focus and systems, right? It really comes down to refining your focus, focusing on where the problems are actually, and just thinking more solution. We have problems. What can we do differently to potentially have increased upside or work towards progress or solving problems that eventually just start breaking out the old habits, way of thinking, and transforming yourself and business to eventually scale out. And that's really what it takes. Hopefully, you guys got a lot of value out of this video. For any videos you guys want us to do in the future, please drop a comment as well, so we can do videos to help you out there as well. So I hope you liked this video. Please give us a thumbs up. Drop a comment for any questions, anything you didn't understand, or any future videos you're looking for us to make. And we could definitely prioritize on that for the future. Once again, my name is Jeremy Rodriguez. All right. And everyone have a good day.